It's theory time, baby. Whoop whoop. Because it does seem like they are trying to create sympathy for witches in the Emperor's Coven. Of course Hunter, but also Darius in Any Sport in a Storm, Kiki Mora in Follies at the Coven Day Parade, and Steve for the whole show, because Steve is the best. Meanwhile it seems like Belos keeps getting a worse reputation. So it could be to emphasize that he is the real threat and everyone in the Emperor's Coven is just under his control. Or worsening Belos' reputation is a bait, which we discover in Hollow Mind or even later on, as the Titan is actually the real main threat and becomes an active threat later on in the show. Or neither of those. At the end of Reaching Out, Warden Wrath spills out that there are rumors of the Day of Unity ridding all magic. Wild or not? And that made me think, is Belos' plan that evil? Like I mentioned in a previous video, they made Belos look evil from the start. In Eclipse Lake they played with him being nice, but it was highly suspected that was just manipulation. At least there would be a reason for why he is evil and manipulating, right? Well, maybe, but first we're amazingly gonna emphasize on how he's been a jerk for centuries. And then we'll tell you he's even more evil and doesn't even just hate wild magic, but might want to rid it all. This could be seen as demon racism or revenge for how poorly they treated him, but what if he does it to save Earth from potential disaster? Belos knows there are ways to travel between the realms, because well, he did it himself. On top of that, in the Season 1 finale we see that Lilith can cast spell circles on Earth, while Luz can't use glyphs. It's questionable if Belos knew this, but he might have through research or it would have just been a safe guess. Better safe than sorry. So that's why he traveled to an unknown demon realm, haha. But what if you reverse the scenario in a more extreme context? What would happen if the Boiling Isles would invade Earth? Earth would stand no chance. So what if Belos is actually Bellaris? That's Belos and Lunaris. Have you seen DuckTales 2017? If not, maybe skip through this section. 3, 2, 1. In DuckTales 2017 Lunaris is a nice moon man, until he's an actual piece of poop. He invades the Earth, because he fears it will invade the moon, and thus he manipulates the other moonlanders to war. Belos on the other hand was never a nice moon man, because he isn't a moon man. But maybe he does want to prevent an invasion of his true home, Earth, by initiating the offense. For now he can hold an invasion off by being the Emperor, so he can control witches and demons and prevent them from invading Earth. And so the Coven system is also just to weaken witches, so even if they would invade the Earth, they'd be less powerful and the Earth might stand a chance. In yesterday's Lie, the museum curator, Jacob, actually subtly talks about an invasion. He believes that demons from Mars are stealing human teeth for their time machine. And while this sounds like a bunch of nonsense, it might not be. The time machine could hint at stuff we've seen in Somewhere and Somewhen, Luz and Lilith traveling through time via time pools, or Belos actually being Philip, a guy we were led to believe lived in the past and would be long dead. Jacob also speculates more demons will come to V's rescue, but he will protect humanity. Will he? Or do the show's creators mean that Belos will, and are they trying to hint at that? But we know the witches and demons from the Boiling Isles, right? They are not so bad. Well, we don't know all of them, do we? We don't know King's family, for example. Based on promo footage, we soon will, but should we be scared of that? King's cuteness leads us to believe all of his kind will be good people, right? Or well, demons. In Echoes of the Past we see a wall painting of perhaps King's dad, fighting a presumable evil. But that painting is literally on a wall in his own home, so is it a trustworthy source of information? Or at least in terms of how the two figures in the painting are portrayed. What if King's family actually wants to invade the human realm, but Belos and / or the Titan stop them? It would explain why we haven't seen King's kind yet, because they are hiding away, because if they show their skulls, Belos might exterminate them. Hollow Mind also airs soon, with Edge of the World after. In the first, Luz and Hunter presumably enter Belos' mind, while in the latter King learns of shocking revelations and horrifying truths about his past. What if he learns that his kind is not so kind-hearted as he is? That would sure be shocking, not only for King, but for everyone else, including the audience. Whether they'll make Belos look more or less sympathetic in Hollow Mind is the next question that can be asked. All of this doesn't mean Belos isn't a big jerk, as he is portrayed now. But it might lead me to believe the talk about Earth in Eclipse Lake might have actually been genuine and not just to look sympathetic for Hunter. He might actually also be Belnos, which is Belos and Thanos. Maybe he does just want to prevent a potential disaster, return to Earth and live out the rest of his days. This doesn't mean he won't remain a jerk though. He might still sacrifice Hunter, if only he can save Earth from a potential invasion. And yes, it remains a potential invasion, because right now we don't have a clear indication that witches are planning to invade Earth. Even if Belos himself doesn't have clear evidence that they will, his gut might say otherwise. He might have entered the demon realm as a curious explorer, but as he didn't feel welcome there and demons started treating him poorly, he might have become the jerk and masterful manipulator he is now. If this theory is true, which is a very big if, it would also be pretty ironic that in the Season 1 finale, Belos assures Luz he won't invade the human realm because the Titans will isn't so boorish. I do feel like this theory could provide an interesting story, as well as some interesting dilemmas for pretty much every character. Literally anything else happening could also be great though. And honestly, there's probably a bunch of other factors that could either support or counter the theory. Is Del connected to Belos and why was the portal door in his garden? What is the Collector's deal? Is the Titan real, and if so, is he on one line with Belos or is he just using him for his own goals, aka is he the main villain like I mentioned before? So if you have additional potential evidence for the theory, or counter-arguments, please comment them below.